In the tapestry of life, where every thread holds a story, America in Black and White emerges as a haven for the voices echoing through the heart of our communities. In this podcast, we wade through the rivers of our collective experiences, celebrating the vibrant hues of change brought forth by the whispers of hope and the roars of action. It's more than just a conversation. It's a journey into the heart of our society, illuminated by the light of those daring to dream and do. Join us, and let your voice be the melody that guides us toward a dawn where every color finds its place in the masterpiece of our shared destiny. Together, let's paint a future brimming with the positives that dwell in our minds and the actions that shape our world.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of America in Black and White, where we are coloring conversations on the canvas of America. Tonight, our special guest is Miss Shelia Prosser. Shelia is a regional leader at Primerica Financial Services who continues to surge forward with the crusade to empower, uplift, and educate about financial literacy in communities all around the country. Her personal mission is to destroy financial literacy, banish financial ignorance, and break generational curses one person, one family, and one community at a time. For over 10 years as an entrepreneur, her goal has been to mentor individuals and make healthier financial decisions, build generational wealth by creating multiple streams of income, and develop more business owners with the ultimate goal of living the lifestyle of financial independence. Shelia is registered and licensed in multiple states as a life insurance agent, investment agent, and financial coach. Her knowledge and leadership have helped supported, trained, and developed hundreds of agents in business, which led to the expansion of teams all over the United States. The crusade of teaching financial education and offering individuals opportunities to partner in business continues to grow. The financial services industry continues to empower and educate thousands of clients through investing, retirement planning, debt elimination, income protection, life insurance, college planning, and legal services, will preparation as foundational services. The goal is to support and provide the right financial tools to help clients build a solid and strong financial home. Shelia has owned several businesses outside of Primerica and continues to encourage and support so many others to do the same. Her saying is, the time is now. We have to create generational wealth, massive passive income for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Shelia Prosser, welcome to the show.
Good evening. Good evening. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. Hey, Charles.
How are you?
I'm doing just great. Just very excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me as a guest on your platform. And I'm just really, really excited tonight. So you got me.
Well, I thank you for being here. And before we get into the show, is there anything you'd like to add to your bio before we get into the show?
No, I was like, is that me? That me? You talking about me? Oh man, I said, who is this person? I got to meet her. No, I have nothing more to add. I'm just here to offer any services, any information, anything I can do to be of service to your community, to your platform. Of course, just our families as a whole. I'm just here, and I'm just always willing to help, and just want to, just increase the knowledge of financial services, really.
Well, let's jump right into your career as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And can you tell us what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, and how did you start your journey?
Wow. Yeah. Well, I'll say early on. I don't want to say it's, coming out of the womb, but I come from a family where we always, I'm going to say, hustle. Like there was always a way to get money and multiple streams of income. So politically, I grew up in an environment where we believed in multiple streams of income, and, just getting a job and having that one source just wasn't enough. Everybody was always looking for something extra. So, just back to when my grandmother and grandfather, stories of them, having side hustles, back in their day. And then they had children and they seen that. So from my uncles to my aunts to my cousins, it was always find something that you love, contribute, offer, and get compensated. So I always tend to have my hands into something legally, of course. We all know that legally. Just clean that up real quick.
I love that concept, though. And there's a lot of people that adopt that actual concept. But in your opinion, can you tell us what's the real value in having multiple streams of income?
Okay. Well, I adopted it when I say around my early 20s. I was looking into real estate. I said, I just want to get a property and, maybe like a duplex. I'm from Philadelphia, so we have a lot of row homes in our community. And the row homes, have an apartment up top on the second floor, third floor. And I always looked at it as if I live here, how can I have a stream of income that can take care of the roof over my head, right? And then from that thinking, I started doing a little research and I realized that, or it was told to me, and I can't remember where it came from, but I never lost thought of this, where it says wealthy people are wealthy because they have multiple streams of income and they use other people's money to live the lifestyle that they want to live. And I said, well, I'm no different. I want to, I want to be wealthy. I want multiple streams of income. And so at that point, I said, well, what can I do to generate that can maybe pay my car note? What can come in to generate and pay my mortgage? So is that thinking and that statement that made me look at what can I do that can take care of this expense where it's passive.
Right.
So that was the multiple streams of income. What can I do that can take care of that? And I still haven't stopped that thinking, right? To the point where I speak that multiple streams of income, multiple ways. How can, what lifestyle you want to live? And a lot of times our income dictates the way we live.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I just think of ways where one, again, is always giving back. How can I provide service to the community? And how can it come in return where it can, just be a circle effect? And I just kept that theory.
So what were some of the biggest challenges you faced when starting your business?
The money. That's a top one. Money. Where am I gonna get that from? But no, the how-tos. What do I need to do? Compliance, licensing. It's never. It always looks pretty on the outside, but we gotta get your hands dirty. It was just the how-tos, the step by step, and that became really frustrating. Because your ideas and some of your goals and dreams may not be the likeness of people in your environment, in your circle. So you can't rely on asking, someone about building a business and they have no clue, right? And then you don't know who to go to. So early on, it was a struggle on really wanting to do big things. I just didn't know the context. I didn't know who to call. I didn't know. Sometimes you get yourself, you run around in circles, chasing your own tail, trying to get answers. And that's where the frustration part came from me at the very beginning. So, but because, I'm not a quitter, you have to figure out, you have to start really putting yourself in an environment where people are more exposed to what you're trying to do, have more knowledge and experience. So it does take you out of your current environment. You have to go and meet different people and put yourself in different environments to get the information and the education that you need to fulfill those goals and dreams.
How do you define success as an entrepreneur?
Success as an entrepreneur. Well, here's what I know. Success has a lot of different phases and it means different to everyone. And to, from myself, one, I just know that you just do what you love to do. Don't do anything that you don't like you hate. That's not going to be, that's not fun. Success is when, even when you get closed, the door closed in your face, or you get hung up on the phone, you still have that strength to pick that phone up again. I'm going to win today, right? So success is when I know I can provide a service for someone, and they're in a better position than they were before they met me. That's success. It's not always a dollar amount. Just seeing someone smile sometimes, to know that that weight has lifted off of their shoulders. That's success to me. So I'm not, I always say, I'm not gonna say I'm a cheap date, but don't take much, to make me feel successful. Just a smile, can be a success. But honestly, yeah, just knowing that the works of my effort rewards other people, that's success to me, and it never stops. So it's not like, oh, today I helped this one person, I'm good, let me go lay down and shut the door. No, who else can I do? Success is an ongoing process for me, and it will never stop until the good Lord says I can rest.
So can you tell our audience why the misconception that success means that from a monetary perspective is the measuring stick? Can you give them some feedback on as to why that's a bad misconception?
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, what happens when people look at success as, and they do look at it as a monetary accomplishment. Oh, as soon as I make six figures, I'm successful, right? And that six figures can be from 100,000 to $999, and so on and so forth. But money can change people, and money can change the mindset of people. And sometimes that success, when you're dictated by the money, it can leave you down a wrong path. And all money is not good money. Okay. And people sometimes find out the hard way. So it's best to, if you are, when you make money, you have to be disciplined, because as quickly as you receive that money is just as quickly as it can go. So it's good to know that success on a I don't want to say a lower level, but on a comfortable level, to the point where when you make more money, you still at that comfortable level. Because what you do now in your successful world, when money comes in, is either going to ruin it, right? Or, and it's going to go away really fast, or you're going to draw a lot of that negative attention to you. That's going to, again, banish that success altogether. So money does influence people. It's the fact that people just don't know how to take control over the influence of money. If that makes sense if I made that clear. That's just my personal opinion, because hey, I have $1 million today, but I'm still going to be Shelia. I'm still going to live, I'm still going to live like I'm living, just like wealthy people. You'll see a person in some jeans and a t-shirt, right? Walk into the store, get a Pepsi, and will leave out of there. And that person is a multi-millionaire, and you will never know it. But then you have someone that's more flashy, right? And want to show all that, and probably in worse position than a person who was with the jeans. So money can definitely change things, and you have to humble yourself. Because what I share with people, yes, I can help you make money, yes, I can help you save it, but once you get it, if you don't know how to maintain it and then know how to manage it properly, it's when you're going to wind up losing it, and then you're going to be right back where you were, which is ground zero. We don't want that.
So what advice would you give someone looking to start their own business?
First, I would say find a mentor that is in the field of the business that you're looking to start, because it's very hard for me to tell you, Charles, right, how to run this podcast, to do your job. Like, I want to do it, but if I don't ask you for help, or ask for your mentorship or your advice or your coaching, your do's, you don't, what you do, going and talking to a brick wall is not going to help. So you want to talk to somebody that's in that industry. You want to follow people that's in that industry. You want to read and do research in that industry. Is a lot of imposters out here. Okay, there's a lot of imposters out here, so do your due diligence, and nothing about going to college or anything like that. But I mean, just to keep it on the real, I say to a lot of adults, is one thing when you want to be taught how to build a business, right? You want to build a business, but why not learn from somebody who actually did it?
That makes more sense than anything.
That's it. So find somebody that like if you want to open up a barbershop, talk to somebody that opens up a barbershop, right? You want to open up a nail salon, you want to open a clothing store. Find somebody, walk into a clothing store and ask to speak to the owner. There are a lot of business owners that own these, all types of businesses out here. Do your due diligence. Go walk and make a friend. Say hello. This is what I'm doing. Because if you don't do the footwork and if you don't get the realness from people who actually done it, you're going to be that rabbit in that hole, just going back and forth. And then you'll be right at the beginning. Like I said, don't know how I have the money. I don't know how to do it. And then people want to start investing and flipping this and flipping that. Oh, goodness gracious. Please find somebody that find somebody who's doing it. How about that? Who's doing it, actively doing it. And hopefully they're nice enough to take you under their wing, right? But yes, it's very important to find somebody who's actually doing it so you can get the real truth, so you can get firsthand blood, sweat, knowledge of what it takes to build a business. Because myself, it's just like you want to pay it forward. If I can condense your time frame to get your business up in half the time I did it, that's success.
Yes, it is.
That is success.
So how do you stay motivated and focused during tough times in your entrepreneur journey?
I think about my son. I think about my family, the people who I love and care about. I think about family members who are no longer here that were my supporters. And I pray, please, right? Because it gets tedious at times. And sometimes sometimes you can get into a lonely place like, oh my gosh, like I just want to quit. But I'm human like everyone else. So, motivational speakers, I may, listen to, you might have to turn on the music, get some of that spiritual in yourself, to change that space. You might go for a walk. Just don't give up. Just knowing that, every day is not always going to be golden. Okay. But that's part of maturity. That's part of growing. That's, you have to fall forward. You're going to fall. Don't look at adversity as a failure. The only reason why you got the adversity is to make you stronger, right? Now you can figure out what not to do, right? Versus what you did. So yeah, I just stay motivated. I have to just look at the man in the mirror, go in the mirror and tell that person what you're here to do. And it's okay. Have 7 minutes of woo is me, and that 7:01, that's it. That's all you got. Just take a break, take a walk, and come back and go right to the drawing board, clear your mind, and know that you have a mission. And if your mission and if your success, if your milestone, your goals and dreams have to be bigger than somebody just upsetting you. Okay, you have to keep going. Don't give up, because if you give up, you will never know what that extra 5 minutes would do.
That's so important. That's so important.
Yes.
So, but let me just ask you a follow-up though before I move on to the next question here. So like, like in a tough situation, like, and let's just say these people, there's a person that feels like they just have to give up. What are some things that you can say to them that would tell them, what are the reasons that they should not give up?
I give them the reasons why they're doing it.
Okay.
I give it right back to them, because sometimes we have to be reminded of why we're doing what we're doing. Right? Life be life, and so much people forget why they even doing what they doing. They just on autopilot, right? I know when I was working, I used to work for the post office, and I swear I was a robot, because my body was conditioned to do this, that, and the third. And I had no idea what was going on. And I had to remind myself, oh yeah, Shelia, I'm at this job because I got to pay bills. I got to feed my son. I got to do, you have to, it's the little reminders of what you have to do. But, life be life. But just, you have to be the loudest voice in your ear sometimes, because sometimes our voice is negative.
Right. Yeah.
right? You know, we're so, you know, you have to, you know, we have you know, it's a thing called I am statements, right? Where you record uh you talking to yourself this in the future, in the present future. I am this, I am that. Sometimes you have to record yourself saying that with conviction, and when times get rough, you might have to play that, because your voice is the loudest voice in your ear, and if you telling yourself all good things, you're going to believe your voice, right, over that negative Nancy in your ear.
Yep.
You have to keep moving forward.
So, how do you identify and seize new opportunities in your industry?
Look around. Look around. So I mean, you can't get away from it. Everybody, and I want to, you know, I know that's a bold statement, but there are a lot of people that are very close to you that are hurting financially. You know, you can turn on social media and just see different posts every day. Someone's looking for a job, somebody's needing something, somebody got fired from a job, they have children at home, they want to work from home, they, you know, people are sick and tired of being sick and
Yes, they
tired.
are.
You know, these jobs are not paying these families the income that they need to survive. You know, everybody's looking to, you know, robbing Paul to pay Peter. Like, it's the same scenario in our communities. And I can't speak for other communities. I only can speak for the one that, you know, I'm a part of. And in this it's sad, but that's what motivates me, right? And if more people look for the resources in the right direction, they can turn that woo is me into being an influence to others. And that's the problem. You know, everybody is hurting, and it's like in today's time, because I'm trying to be politically, you know, correct, stay in my space. People are scared. They are scared. You know, this is the real deal. I thought during COVID time was the most scariest time in my lifetime. But this 5 years later, look where we at right now. We have no idea what's going to happen in the future. And a lot of people are really just on edge.
Well, you know, let me just say this before moving forward. You know, COVID is still not over. It still hadn't gone anywhere. And I just actually did a post. There's a new strand that's out right now. And so just a PSA for people to just be aware.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a real time. I think even during that time was a wake up call for a lot of
Yep.
people. And unfortunately, you know, there were a lot of you know, grief during that time as well. You know, a lot of losses during that time, not just with family members, which was massive, you know, but just being able to survive. You know, nobody knew where their next dollar was coming
Nope.
from. And so, you know, when you have those times and you have today's times, it's just, you know, a lot of people are just really, really, really scared, Charles. It's sad and it's scary, but this is our reality right now. And we have to really make a difference. We have to make a decision that, okay, we know what's going on in the world. What are you doing for your family? What are you doing for you and your family? And that's where I believe people are right now. What's the next step? What am I supposed to do now? And people have a lot of questions. There's not answers to them, you know, but you know, here we are. But you have to be persistent. Just don't give up. I mean, I just tell, you know, those I have, you know, agents, you know, that are lifing, you know, and they just don't know which way to go. And I just got to speak life into people, because if I don't do it, who will?
Right.
Right.
You know, Shelia, I'm going to tell you, you are actually you're stating a quote, a cliche, whatever you want to call it, life be lifing. I actually had a guest on the show just recently, maybe last month. And that's the title of his
Mm-hmm.
book.
It's like, you know, life is life. And you know, when you say that to somebody, they get it's like amazing. Like, who came up with that? Life be life. And you say it to
Yes.
anybody, they
Yes.
get it. It's like an undisclosed, like you know, a message within a
Yes.
message. Yes. And guess what? And life is not going to
No.
stop. Life is not going to stop unless you stop. And that's why I tell people, yes, things are going to happen. It's life, right? Things going to happen to you, around you, within you, but you are the defining factor. How are you going to respond to that? Is it going to make you stronger, or are you going to crawl underneath that rock and stay there? So, yeah, I got to look for that book now.
That's I think that's Coach Cannon. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna actually look that up and.
Okay, we gotta post that. We gotta advertise, get that out there, promote that.
So, what role does innovation play in your business strategy?
So innovation. So okay, we all know a lot of people are visual. Okay, and I can talk, but people are visual creatures, and they get to see things. So we use a lot of innovative videos to communicate a lot of the messages, a lot of the education, a lot of the different financial concepts that people get. And when we talk about financial services, it's like, oh, okay. Some people look at it as a bad thing versus a good thing, right? And I just read something, when somebody says financial services, they feel like they're getting got. That was something I heard that today. Like, oh, unified, yes. And I said, wow, because I think when people, in this industry, I think when you have advisors that are out to help people, they think that we're just trying to make money off of you. And I think that's the misconception. Now, granted, I'm not saying that, people who went with financial advisors, that it was a negative way, but I'm not saying that's the case for everybody. Right. So, almost lost my thought there fast, but the visual portion of it people respond to that a lot differently. So when I talk about financial services, I talk about a financial house, right? Make it real simple. I like to talk plain English. Your financial house. What does your financial house look like? Right? You have to build it from the ground up, right? Not from the roof down, right? Is your foundation of your financial house solid to the point where your house is not going to crash in, right? And so when you see the demonstration of a house being built, you build the foundation. Where's the foundation? Protecting your income, right? Why? Because your income takes care of your household, right? Right. And then you talk about the floors of the house all the way up to the roof. So innovative, it's just people are visual creatures. And when you put things in video, or, with a lot of colors and all the characters, it comes to real life. So it's putting words and putting it behind a video that really speaks value, and people respond to that a lot better when they see things like that. And I think it's very important too, because everybody on their phone. Everybody, that's all they want to be, videos. So why not make it educational?
Okay, what you talking about? They love them phones. Love them phones. You can't pry them away from them phones.
No, not at all.
How do you manage risk as an entrepreneur?
Well, I embrace it. It's part of the package. I'm not afraid of it.
Okay, now.
You got to go for it. You can't be no wimp talking about business. Right? You can't. There are losses that's going to happen. It's part of the business, right? How do you regain from a loss? Well, if you do enough good business, when there's a loss, it doesn't even bother you, right? So risk comes with the package, but again, it's a learning tool. So if things get a little risky, get a little hot, when we say get a little hot in the pot, then be right. Don't run from it. Learn from it. Go attack it. Find out what can I do for this not to happen again, because it's going to happen, right? Things are going to things are going to happen. And how you respond to it. So why run away from it? Because again, this is what your crusade, this is your goal, this is your mission, this is your thing. Who's running away? You run away from your own risk. So yeah, it's going to be chances. And if you find, and this is where it's like, if it gets a little touchy, or it gets, you start questioning things, that's where your mentorship comes in. That's why it's so important to have a solid mentorship team around you, so you can go to someone or be open enough to receive the coaching and mentorship to help you, to prevent you from major risk. And believe me, I think I could pretty much speak for all entrepreneurs. They know when things is getting a little risky. You pushing the button, right? You getting close and starting to get a little hot, and you just like, oh, if I do a little bit more, what's going to happen? I don't want to put myself in a position where at that point something gets snapped and I can lose everything. I'm very open to say, hey, listen, I need help. That was something I had to learn, because I'm not saying pride and everything, but when you're an independent person, you do everything on your own, and sometimes it's hard for a lot of prideful people to ask for help, and then all heck breaks loose, and now they in that hot that hot spot, and then it's like, oh, right, and it's like, dang, and it's like, oh, I know I'm gonna do that again. Well, I try to avoid as much, but again, risk is part of the package. So just embrace it. Know you're gonna have it, and what can you learn from it, and what would you do differently? And trust me, ain't too many risks people going to take where it's going to put them in a position to lose something. Maybe the first time, maybe that first time, but you'll know how to pivot, and that's how I handle risk.
For all those things that we're talking about here in entrepreneurship, I can honestly tell you that the advice that you are giving and the things that you're speaking on, those are very, very solid things I think people should take, especially moving forward. Because if you look at today, there's an enormous amount of people that are in our communities, that are looking and striving to run into entrepreneurship, because everybody now, as you mentioned, these companies are really screwing people over with these wages. Sometimes they don't pay them on time. Sometimes they be a week or two behind. The employees don't know what to do. And people start getting desperate, especially when they're living paycheck to paycheck. So for these people that are in our communities, especially, I mean, for everybody, but people in our communities especially, because, we're always the communities that are lacking these resources. What should they think most when it comes to wanting to get into entrepreneurship and go into their niche of what they want to do? What are the things that they should think most about?
My answer is going to be this. Just like when I talk about getting the job, right? If you want to get a job or you're going to start something, the best thing to do is try to get in the job or that field that you like to do. Nobody, it's very hard to work in a field that you hate. Okay, right? So, and granted, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make ends meet, but don't settle for that, right? You can give yourself a time limit. I'm going to be here maybe work here for 6 months, but that's an exit plan, right? If you're somewhere and you want to do something, take care of yourself, right? Because we all need, income coming in to eat, sleep, pay all the bills, but don't settle, pursue. You can work at this job Monday through Friday from 9 to 5, but 5:05, you on your hustle to do what you want to do, get that business going, or learn a different trade so you can get out of what you in. See, people I'm probably gonna get yelled at, but people too daggone lazy, and you want the world. You can't be lazy and expect to be rewarded, right? And what you're doing doesn't dictate who you are. People working at jobs they hate, and some of them, people probably get looked down on some of the jobs that they have. That's a temporary situation if you make it that way, right? You're just working there for a certain amount of time, but pursue what you really want to go and get a trade, get some licenses, get you able to get a career without going to college. You can go into anything, especially when you start at entrepreneurship, right? If it's something you want to research, go to school for that. They have a lot of courses online and different. You have to be a student of whatever you want. I can't tell you what to do. You have to tell me if you want to be an artist, and I'm meeting you at Chick-fil-A. Okay, no problem. All right. So what are you doing when you're off hours to pursue your artistry? Right. I don't need to know you working at Chick-fil-A. I know you met there. Thank you for the sandwich, the whole night. But what are you doing to pursue your artistry? Are you opening up that art studio that you're
There you
talking
go.
about, right? Have you looked around? Have you did that's the conversations that I have with people. But no, you'll get people that, and I'm not knocking Chick-fil-A, I'm just using that as
Right.
an example. But then you'll have people work there and they say, oh, I want to, I want to be a truck driver, I want to open up this, I want to open up that. But it's just talk, 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 talk. I got time for talking. You keep talking, you're gonna be 65 years old, 70 years old, sitting back like, oh God.
Ooh, where did the time go?
Oh, I tell you, right? I look like, oh my God, and time does fly. I mean, you hear that as you were, in younger years. Now that you're there, he's like, oh, when did this happen? But it's, you don't want to be complacent, and even if you are happy where you are, a lot of people say it, but they're really not. It's things that they want to do, and that's why I'm saying pursue that. Life is too short. Life is too short. And we all know our birthday. We don't know our death date. So act like today is your last day. Pursue, if nobody told you today, go after your goal. Think about some of the goals and dreams that you had. If you wanted to travel, I was talking to my sister earlier, and I know she wants to go, her dream trip is to go to an Asian country. She wants to get on a luxurious airplane, and she wants the whole like condo, like living on an airplane. Like she just want to do that, right? And I was like, okay, no problem. We can make that happen. And we literally talked about that earlier today. And I said to her, she said, well, I got other places I want to go. I said, yeah, but you said that that's what you really want to do, right? I said, so let's make that happen, right? It doesn't have to happen next year. Maybe it'll happen 2 years from now. You got some things, but make it happen. It's a thought in your head. It's just a wish. When you write it down and you pursue it, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And that's the problem with people. They have these goals and dreams, and then life be lifing, and then dreams out the door. No, I'm here to tell you that no matter what age you are, where you are in life, if it's something, think about something you really, really want to do. Really. Right? Regardless of where you are right now. And that's your focus. So everything that, from now until where you get to that point, look, a building can fall in front of you. You step right over the stones, and you keep it moving, and you go right to that. That's what you need. And a lot of times it's hard to get there. But again, who is in your circle? Who is in your circle? Yes, it is. And I ain't saying having a whole entourage, have a whole posse. You don't need all of that. Sometimes it takes that 1 or 2, maybe 3 to 4 people that you can confide in, that when times get rough, like you said, when you find in risk, you ready to slide under the table in your ear and said, nope, remember that drink you wanted to have at that restaurant in Korea, or, you remember that, that 6-month dream sale you want to do around the whole globe. Come on, dream. We don't dream anymore. We too caught up in life be life. And man, life won't happen anyway. If that's the story you want to have, so be it. I'm happy for you. But I'm going to push you. I'm going to encourage you, and I want you to move forward. And sometimes, and me talking to you like that, I have to talk to myself like that. I'm human just like that. I go through the stumps with everybody else. You know what? Life things happen, right? You tend to lose people. You can't talk to that person you have, and they might have passed on. And it's difficult for people. But you have to stay on it. You have to stay on it as if it's your last breath. And trust me, you taking that extra step will always make a difference.
So let's transition over to your work in financial planning and insurance. And tell us what led you to pursue a career in financial planning and insurance.
Totally was not something I woke up and said, ooh, I want to be in the financial services industry. Everything told me this year, so I'm like, you playing? No. It literally fell into my lap, as some people say. It really did. I was actually pursuing, believe it or not, to become a real estate agent. I was, my history is I was working at the post office. I worked there for 13 years. Before I fired them jokers. Okay, that's another story for another day. You'll probably ask me, but anyway. And I was pursuing, I hated the way I worked at the post office, because I was what they called a flexi. So I didn't have a 9 to 5 schedule. I had a full-time position, but I can work anytime. They can schedule me anytime. And they did for 6-7 days a week for 13 years. I was like a slave at the plantation. I'm gonna just call it what it was, right? And so I could go in 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Every day was a different time, and I still got off at night, and I hated it, right? And I wanted to pursue a different career. I wanted to make money, right? Because I was living from paycheck to paycheck. It looked good on paper, but my bank account, Charles, was saying something different. And I was working hard. I'm like, this is a dead end, right? And again, you're talking to someone who believes in multiple streams of income. You know, I want to be my own boss. I don't want to be bossed around. I'm a good employee, but I didn't want to be a good employee no more. I wanted my own. I wanted to do what I wanted to do, go to the bathroom when I wanted to, stop having people follow me, all that type of stuff, right? And but I really was I was intrigued by different financial concepts, but I just didn't know. We didn't talk about stocks and bonds and investing around, in my household, around our Thanksgiving, table. We was talking about why she coming here looking like that. She owed me $20 from last Thanksgiving. That's conversation around my table. I'm not saying that that's what everybody else is. I'm just telling you, Charles, now, some of y'all may have related to that. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all still got family members still owe you on some money, but they on here all on Facebook flexing. They all in Mexico and Jamaica, and they still owe you money. Okay, let me stop. We not get nobody in trouble. But but yeah, So my office that I was a part of was in the county. I'm from Philadelphia. And the office I was in was in one of the counties outside of Philly, and it was very expensive. The areas I was living in, worked in, the houses was like $400,000 or $500,000, and that because it's at the ghetto where I worked at. Okay, so a lot of my coworkers didn't look like me, but they always was talking about, did you see that stock? And you see this and that, and I'm ear hustling. Because I don't know these things. It's not taught in school. We don't have these conversations. So I'm like, what they talking about? And I couldn't pick up nothing. Fast forward, a friend of mine who just got into the industry, she gave me a call and said, Shelia, I want to practice with you, just talk to you about, this presentation that I'm learning to do. I'm getting licensed, everything. I said, sure, come on over. I ain't seen her in a while. And she started talking. And mind you, I'm in debt. I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. I'm trying to find another source of income. How I'm going to get a job working the way I work here. I just want to quit. I'm like this. Unemployment starting to look good to me right now. Like I'm trying to go to the doctors. Can I get out on sick leave annually? Whatever. Just get me out of here. Right. So all of that was happening at one time. And I'm just like, God, please help me. Here she come. Now, she's studying, she's getting licensed, she's doing everything. And I'm like, is this what you do? And she said, yeah. I said, well, I need help with that. I need help with that. I got a couple of questions about that. And if you got some more in your back pocket, I probably need that too. So I forced myself actually to be a client because I was intrigued by the things that she was saying to me, because I said, oh, this is what they was talking about in the office. And I'm trying to understand. So I started connecting the dots. And so her helping me, definitely, I said, my family needs this help. And she said, well, Shelia, I think you'll be good at this, And she said, doing this. Now, mind you, I've been propositioned to do a lot of things. You got that spirit, you got that entrepreneur mindset, but I wasn't interested in buying products to sell to people and making pennies on a dollar. I'm a dollar for dollar type person. Okay, if I'm gonna do something, I want to make some money, I want to make a difference. And sell it, and nothing against. This is just my personal opinion, okay? Nothing against what people do. I just knew I didn't have the time to do all of that, and I didn't have the space to house a whole bunch of products. So that's not the entrepreneur role I'm trying to go, okay? So when she said that I can learn more about the financial concepts, I can get state and federal licenses and start a business of my own. Now we talking. Because I said, all my family need help because I'm tired of them calling me asking to borrow money. So I got a whole, right? I'm going to tell you, y'all want to start have your family members asking you for money? Get into this industry and tell you help. The phone calls will magically stop. Because seriously, I don't have to show you. I don't have to lend you no money. I'm going to show you how to make your money. I'm going to show you how to, manage your money, because this, in reality, and I know I'm, having fun with this, but this is real. We don't know this stuff, and we don't manage our money right. That's why we always overdraft and got debts and this and that, and more money going out than coming in, and we're in a bad place. So that's when I started learning the concepts. I think the rule of 72 was pretty much what blew me away. And that's, and from there I was like, I'm in. And when obviously she showed me that, I'm all about credentials. Okay. I already got student loans at the time and got a degree. Imagine it. Right. But you mean that this company is going to pay for my licenses, their state and federal credentials, another way to make a source of income. Right. I have my CDL, another source of making income. So I like to have that wallet, like, if times get rough, I got, or whatever. And all of that I love to do, right? Got my CD. I love to drive big vehicles and make money doing it, right? Got my life insurance. I love to help people protect their family. Got my license. So that's why I say get credentials, get the certifications of things that you love, because now you have multiple ways to make money, and it's a service of you're giving a good service, good deed, and you're going to get rewarded. And I love it. Right. I love it. And that's how I got into the industry. And and not only that, I think the cherry on top for me in this industry is that I get to pay it forward. I get to pay it forward. And when I say that, meaning that at what I mean by that is that I have, at the time, I'm just saying younger years, that, as a single mom. So I had a lot of friends that were single parents, and I'm not just talking about single moms. I knew single dads too. I just tend to have a good group of friends coming up, right? But they were working 2 or 3 jobs trying to make ends meet. And the reason why some of these kids out here acting crazy, because the parents ain't in the household, because they too busy working 2 or 3 jobs trying to support them, and they can't parent their kids. I was working at the post office. Everybody raised my child but me. That is a no. I went through all the pain to carry this human in my body, right? And I can't raise them. No, right? So I use that as a way of saying, hey, friend, I know you may not have the money to go to college or, to get it, but this company is paying to help you get your credentials. So if you can get your licenses, you can go work for some. So I started paying it forward that way, not only educating to make sure as people start, paying attention to manage their own money, but also giving them an opportunity to get some credentials where they can have a state and federal license and they can make money helping other folks, right? And so that was what I loved about this company, because what I do, pay it forward, because if nobody going to do it, who going to do it? If my girlfriend never came to me, Charles, I wouldn't even sit here talking to you now.
But I'm going to tell you, that is, that is so spot on, though, these things that you're saying, because, there's like an enormous amount of people, that are in our communities, and especially family members, that, they get to that point where, hey, it's like it's that struggle. And so in that struggle, what you say, they keep hitting you up on that phone with them $20. $20 like 6 or 7 times. And it's like, okay, you ain't paid me yet.
You probably got a ping 5 minutes ago. They were like, oh yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly.
And so, as that's happening, I think it's rather interesting, that you found this industry and how you actually made it work for you. You see. And so I think the thing is, and I know a lot of times it's got a lot to do with this. Why do you think that there are so many people that, when it is something that they want to do or something that they don't want to do, but don't understand what it is to work this out until you get to that point? Because I can honestly say that, let's say, I'm older than you, but let's say 20 years ago.
I can say 20 years ago, believe it or not.
Something like that just dropped to me like that, I'm also about the multiple streams of income, but I would have worked that.
I think the different people lazy. I don't care what you say. The bottom line, they lazy. People will say what they want, but they don't want to go for it. I don't think people have younger people, maybe I'll say our generation is probably almost the last. And I'm not saying it to be rude or disrespectful, but I encounter all ages, and people can tell you from here to yesterday how they want to do X, Y, Z, X, Y, and Z. And then as soon as something get rough, they give up, because this is the instant generation.
Yeah.
Instant.
Ooh, and entitled.
Instant generation, right?
Yes.
Nobody gets in the business. Now, this is the difference. This is what I entrepreneurs, and I say that very loosely, entrepreneurs know that there's a grind, right? When you start this is start mark, you may not see the residuals until maybe, like 6 months. You'll make some money but I'm talking about some real money. You know what I mean? 6 months, a year, maybe 2-3 years down the line. And a true person will, through the ups, the downs, the oh my gosh, the zero, and keep going. Today, people instant. Oh, I can't make money right now. I don't want to do it. You don't want to be no business. You will never make it as a business owner.
Right.
Nobody. I've never known anybody that wanted to start a business and plan to be broke. Nobody. Right? Make it make sense, Charles. But then they don't want to do the work. Oh, it ain't working for me in 6 months. You got to keep grinding. You got to keep, first of all, if you keep accepting no's, then you won't be the big old no, right? Exactly. You're here to change and make a difference. If what you're doing doesn't give you that compassion, that motivation, that determination to keep moving, then that's not the way you need to go. It ain't worth it. You got to find something else. Find something else. Because if you get something that fast, I don't even want it that fast.
Ooh, okay.
I don't want it that fast. Because anybody who gets it that fast, guess what? You're going to lose it that fast. Mm-hmm. And you have to invest. You have to invest your time. You have to invest your energy. You have to invest being upset. You have to invest being happy. You have to invest. That's being a true entrepreneur. So everybody will say it loosely. I want to be a business owner. I want to do this. Okay. Let's see how tough you are when nobody's placing orders with you. Then what you going to do? Give up? No, maybe you just need to pivot, right? And find another way of marketing. Maybe you need to connect with a marketing coach to give you some tips. Maybe because your Facebook or your Instagram was looking like you out here partying, every block party up here, and you know what I mean? You got to clean stuff up, and people are not willing to do that. They're not really, really willing to do the work that it takes. So yeah, it ain't gonna work for you. It wasn't meant to work because you already shot yourself in the foot, and it was you that did it. But you know who they gonna blame? Everybody else. It's your fault, their fault, everybody's fault, but not the man in the mirror. Mm-hmm. Not the man in the mirror. We don't look at ourselves in the mirror and tell that person the truth.
Mm-hmm. So how do you approach helping clients achieve their financial goals?
By addressing some of their financial concerns. Mm-hmm. Okay. And because I can tell you all day what to do, but with me telling you what to do when I don't even know what you want. Right. Mm-hmm. And so I don't make it about me. I make it about them. So I'll sit with a client, get to learn who they are, family. Again, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? When do you plan to retire? And retire, is a word that we don't talk a lot about. Unfortunately, people don't even make it to retirement age, right? And it's sad, but people don't plan for the future anymore. Mm-hmm. To me, people plan day by day, and you're not gonna. That's not planting that seed the right way. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'll listen to, figure out, and honestly, majority of people have the same financial concerns, getting out of debt, saving for retirement, making sure they protect it, and I talk to people about having a will. Do you have a will? Oh, no, you need that. You need that. We need to see, my crusade is really getting into homes and really having those tough conversations with family. Right. We done seen too many devastations within our families alone. I mean, we all seen it. Big mama passed, somebody passed, everybody arguing over the fork, the spoon, mama loved me better than you, and all this, the drama. Right. And so I tried to put a sense of order in people's household, and something as simple as a will. That's your love letter to your family.
Yes.
That is your love letter to your family. Give your family instructions on what you want to make it easy for them. For real. You know, a living will, a power of attorney, a medical power of attorney. All of that is necessary. And people just like, yeah, la, la, la. And then if you're a husband and wife and you have children, in most states, if the husband and wife pass away at the same time, your kids is awarded a state in most states, meaning that the state will choose who your kids go to. And you might not, no, my kids can't go to uncle such and such or cousin such and such or grandma such and such. You're dead. You can't come back, revive, change what you really want. Get your house in order. Get your house in order. So I have those tough conversations, and it's not even where they feel offended. They're more, oh my God, I'm so glad that you said that, Shelia, you know, because we've been talking about that, and I've experienced this with my dad, or I experienced this with my siblings. And well, you don't have to have that with your family. And that's and so as an advisor, it's not just one thing, it's the whole financial house, checking off those boxes, getting that will together, getting your retirement together, right? You got children. Yeah, your children can take out a loan for college, but you can't take out a loan for your retirement. Get that in order today. Kids gonna be all right. Okay, we'll work on that. But you have to get yourself in order. If you don't protect and get your stuff in order, your house is in shambles. And what's going to happen is a domino effect.
Yeah. I got a question for you that's here in the chat from Blake.
Okay.
It is the question is, what is the rule of 72?
Okay. So now I'm explaining what I'm showing in the innovative Blake, okay, video. Here we go. So the rule of 72 is the amount of money is when you divide any amount of money into the interest rate, it will tell you how long your money will double, how long it will take your money to double. So for example, in a bank, okay, now I don't care what bank you have, credit unions, people so fancy with credit unions, it's the same thing. Okay, they're all financial institutions. Right now across the board, they're not even giving you 1% on your checking and savings. It might be like 0.00 nothing. Okay, so say you had $1, right, in a 1% account. The rule of 72 says if you divide the interest rate into the number 72, that's how long it would take your money to double. So 1 into 72 is 72. So if you had $1 in a 1% account, it would take 72 years for that $1 to become 2. Right? But most people save their money where at, Charles? In the bank. And then they like, oh, I ain't got no money, you know, I'm trying to save, you know, all this. It ain't going to grow, right? Because that's not where the interest rates are. The banks take your money and they invest it into the higher interest rate, make money off of your money and give you that little bit return. Exactly. All that saying is, and what I do is cut the middleman out and put your money where the banks put yours, so you can have a chance to have generational wealth and have wealth money. So that when you see it in the 3%, 6%, and say a 12%, and see how your money multiplies and how long it takes, 3 into 72 is 24 years. So if you have your money sitting in the 3% account and don't do any, don't touch it, don't add to it, nothing, it's going to take 24 years for that money to double. And in 6 years is a little bit sooner because the higher the interest rate, it just doubles, compound interest, right? Yeah. So again, so the key to it is if you're looking to invest your money and have it work harder for you than you working harder for your money, you need to put it in a high interest bearing account like mutual funds. Period. Yes, I
was just about to say, because it's the high interest bearing accounts is the ones that's actually making the money.
Absolutely.
And like when you're talking about those particular instruments like that, you know, of course they depend upon the market, and so that's why they have the aggressive and the take your time account, whatever you want to call it. And so that pretty much depends upon the individual as to how that money moves and how it works.
Absolutely. And what I try to do in most cases is have our clients have at least 3 accounts. Okay. Now I'm not saying don't put your money in the bank. Okay. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. But I am going to say, now this is again my personal opinion, but you should only really use the bank for about 2 to 3 reasons. 1, cash a check. Got to get that money. Okay. Got to get cash a check. 2, pay your bills. You got to pay your bills. And maybe some right now money, like a little something on the side. But investing, when I mean putting your money in an investment account, when I'm saying, you're welcome, Blake, I just seen it. With 3 accounts is 1, your emergency fund account. Have at least 3 to 6 months of your monthly expenses in that emergency fund account. Okay, now that's going to be more conservative. That's not aggressive. That's not, long term. That's something right now. Because let me tell you, COVID is real. All these hurricanes and tornadoes and floods that's going on around, these fires and stuff is real, right? When last year, when they had the hurricane came through Florida, came all up the East Coast, North, came all the way up to Virginia, there were families, agents, clients included, that were out of water, electricity, food for weeks, right? But those that took advantage of having that emergency fund was able to take that money and at least get out and go stay at Airbnb, right? Comfortably, right?
Yeah.
Or be able to fully fund their house without having to, Mom, can I borrow, send me cash app, Charles, you getting that text again? Can I get you? Right? Right? You know what I mean? Everybody, the GoFundMe be popping, right? So, right? But you have it there. You have it there because accidents, emergencies do happen. Your car breakdown, you have a home repair. You won't have to go in distress because you now have an account that's what that's there for. And you can, cap it off if you want to just put $2,000 in or whatever. I mean, like I said, 3 to 6 months because you may feel ill and can't work. But guess what? The mortgage company is saying you still got to pay that mortgage. Your rent still saying you got to pay that rent. And if you're not having income coming in, so that emergency fund is there. The second account is a short-term account, like 3 to 5 years of investing. Maybe you want to go that dream vacation. Maybe you're ready to get married. Maybe you want to buy that dream car. Maybe start a business, right? So there's a little bit more, not conservative, but not as aggressive. So a moderate, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the last account, which is your wealth builder account. That's your retirement fund. That's the money that's going to save you when you go to retire. So you need to accumulate. You need to find out, which we educate a concept called the FIN, F-I-N, financial independence number. Mm-hmm. What that is the amount of money that you need to save between now and the time that you go to retire. So when at the age that you want to retire, so when you do retire, Charles, you'll never have to work again. How many people do we know retire broke?
Ooh, I don't know too many that retire broke. If they do, something is wrong.
Meaning that they might have to stay at the job a little longer.
Yep.
Because they didn't save enough money. And I say broke, that's what I mean like this. I'm not saying, you like, okay. But, or you leave that one job to go find another job to work because you didn't save enough money, right? Mm-hmm. When I was little, I thought, my the picture of retirement was, travel around the world. That's what you're supposed to do in retirement. But as I got older, I wasn't seeing that. I was seeing people still working at the job. When I was working at the post office, I swear people was like 100 years old walking across the floor. Like, how long y'all been here? Like, I guarantee if anybody who worked for the post office that's watching this know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, people don't. Now, maybe it's different now. I don't know.
See, I'm gonna tell you. See, I think for that generation prior to you, I think that with the shortness of not actually being all the way honed in on financial literacy, is causing the people that's my age and above, to actually find that little part-time job where they ain't trying to cut them Social Security benefits, but they need to get enough to make some ends meet.
Yes.
And so, but I think but my main premise and point is, having financial literacy and knowing what's enough when you start doing this investing and saving. Mm-hmm. And see, a lot of people don't know what's enough, which is why when you go back and you're talking about the rule of 72, I can honestly tell you, as a kid, that's not something that was talked about. But I will say the blessing is having the opportunity
Yes.
to just learn,
Yes.
about finance in general, as I was getting older and older and older, that, I was able to learn to maneuver and to manipulate some things, but
Hmm.
still not being all the way there until I actually got a chance to deal with the market.
Yes. And here's the fact, a fun fact about that. Most people don't get serious about their retirement until they hit about age 40, 45. That's when they really get serious, about that. But the blessing is that we get the younger generation that's coming up with all the TikToks and the IG, and everybody want to be their own banking and the Bitcoins and all that. It opens up another door. So these younger generations, believe it or not, are really open to learning about investing. The scary part is that they're learning it from people who are not licensed to really talk about it.
Exactly.
And that's the scary part, and that's what makes it harder for me, because I'll get, and like I said, there's some smart young people. I'm running into some 18, 19, 20, 21-year olds here that, one, they're still like, their minds are still like babies. They're still absorbing so much. So they're at a real critical age where if you get to them, you can empower them with the right financial education, where they start making better financial decisions at 18, at 19, at 20. They know now to invest. It's just now they have to be educated on where and how to invest, because everything you see on social media is not the good thing. That's
Mm-mm.
not the good thing.
That's the
And yeah, it is, right. But because we have their eyes are open, their ears are open, they're listening more. Now is who is talking to them, where are they getting the information from? And I do have a lot of younger generation that's actually getting into the financial service. Not as many as I want, but I'm hopeful. It's still growing. Getting into the colleges and talking to these students is very, very important. But even at an older age, Charles, I do have a lot of older clients, and this is where I hear all the time, I wish I knew this when I was back. I
Mhm.
wish I knew, this. And not that they not all right financially, but they could have been 10 times, 20 times better where they are, where you can work because you want to. It's
Yes.
different when you have to work because you have to.
Right.
Okay, so don't get me wrong when I say, when people, they have to find another job. Well, most of them do because they can't make ends meet and they don't want to rely on Social Security. And heck, I don't even know Social Security is even going to come to me the way. It might not even be here in another 6 months. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to stay. I want to stay.
No, but you're right. But Anita just put in the chat. She put facts, so she's in agreement with these words of wisdom that you're putting out. Um, so let me just ask you this. Let's go over to some of the work that you do within community engagement.
Yes.
What drives your passion for community engagement?
Oh goodness. The fact that we're not educated. The fact that we're not financially educated is when you have kids that can't even count money, when you have adults that can't even balance their checkbook. What's that? Now I'm talking out my age. Can't even balance their statement, that they get paid on Friday and they run it, and then they and then they broke on Saturday morning because they don't went out partying. We're not managing enough. That's what I'm getting into there. When you have guests like Blake said, what's the rule of 72?
Mm-hmm.
Right? When that rule of 72 becomes a household name, then maybe I can relax.
Mm-hmm.
When we talk about investing in mutual funds, right? Then maybe I can relax. When we're educated on mutual funds, let me start there, okay? Because again, people say, oh, well, the stock market this and that. Yes, but yeah, okay. What goes down, when things go up, it's gonna come down, right?
Yep.
Stock markets be stock marketing. Okay.
Yep.
It is. You know what I'm saying? Come on. Like people try to be, absolute and period, but the stock market be dropping. Yeah, life be life too, and stocks be stocking. Okay. It's gonna happen, right? But you gotta play the game, because even when the stocks go down, that's not a loss. That's when you buy more. Because for history says, even with the stock market, it's going to go up. And if you follow history, you don't take your money out. Why? Because you know what? Wealthy people leave clues all the time. And because we're so skeptic, we're so skeptic. Oh, I don't want to, that's why wealthy people are wealthy. It's just the little thing. It's just a little tweak. What's a little education can do? You can tweak. You don't have to jump all into the whole, financial bucket. But drink a little bit from the fountain, learn, educate, take your time. And that's why when I sit down with families, this is a lot. It could be a lot of information. It was overwhelming to me. I thought I was going to pull my hair out. I was so mad at, oh my God, these banks is taking my money. Rule 72 had me lit. Like, when you actually see how it, I was livid. Because I'm trying to do the right thing. I want to save, and I'm working at this job I hate, and I'm trying to put money aside because when I have children, I don't want to put my kids in student loan debt like I was in student loan debt, and things can happen, and I don't know if my baby gonna be smart enough to be a genius where he get full scholarship and stuff like that. So I gotta be prepared. I went to my mom. She worked at the post office. So I'm thinking she got all this money, and I'm set. My work for the government, and I want to go away to college. And she was like, "No, you're gonna have to fill out them student loans, and you put them in your name. Don't put it in my name."
Okay.
What? Right? Like, wait a minute. What do you mean? How you gonna have me? You didn't think I was smart enough to go to college? Like you work for the government. You work for but nobody taught her. Mom had some stuff, but and I know I'm joking, but this is real. This is real talk. And I just didn't want to have that same conversation with my son or my child. I wasn't pregnant at the time, but I said I didn't never. If my child is anything like me, I knew I want to have this conversation with him or her. And turned around and got pregnant, have a son. And immediately I'm gonna start saving right now. And guess where I save, y'all? In the bank. I'm saving. I've got money coming out my check twice a month going into this account. Like I don't know what this child gonna be like but I'm gonna make sure, I'm saving and saving. And then I learned the rule of 72 and learned what the banks was doing with my hard-earned money from a job I hated. Are you kidding me? And then I took my little bit of money because it was little. Right? Because it wasn't growing anything, took it out of that bank and put it into mutual funds. And then I started seeing my money soar. You ain't got to tell me twice. And then you got, and with these Merrill Lynch and these Charles Schwabs and stuff like that, they don't cater to people like us. You got to come with big money for those type of accounts. But what I like is that you can start with little as $25 a month, just putting money aside, right? Just put money aside. That's a Chick-fil-A order. $25. Y'all go to fast food, pay $25 in a heartbeat, right? A little Happy Meal with a drink. And Lord knows, don't get a milkshake, because then that really takes it up to 25, right? So I'm joking, but I'm not. But you know what I'm saying? It's just,
I know exactly what you're saying.
If you save money now, money will be in a position to save you later. And that's the problem. People don't know how to save. And they say, oh, I save in the bank. Where? In your savings account? Your savings account ain't nothing but part 2 to your checking. Let's be real, because as soon as that money deletes in the checking, first thing you're doing, transferring the money from the savings to the checking and this and that and the third. Put your money somewhere where you don't even want to look at. One of my founders moments was I had a young lady. She was 19, 20 years old when she was referred to me from a client, and very responsible. She was a teacher, just starting out in life, and she got her own life insurance policy. She said, I just want to be sure I'm covered, want my family to be taken care of. She was the only child, very responsible. And so I did her policy, got that situated, but I also got her started in investment. I said, the life insurance is not even for you. Life insurance policy is for your family. I'm focused on you. You done did that, but let's focus on you. And she started putting money in and had her put money in a Roth IRA. So anybody who's working, who has earned income, that's a tax-free retirement account. You want your money to go tax-free, Roth IRAs. We can talk about that later, okay? But had her start up a Roth IRA, and I had her start up emergency fund account because these young people, So she had money going into both. Did an annual review with her. Everything was going, and she increased her contributions to her investment. Had another annual, and she didn't even want to know what was in there. Now she has access to it. She didn't want to know. So second time around, talked to her. I said, I'm so proud of you. You've been so consistent. I said, you got your retirement going, you got your emergency going. And when I told her it was, she was so elated. She said, I never saved that much money before. I said, but if you ever need it, no. I don't even want to know no more. I don't even know what's in there no more. That's what she did. No. I don't even want to know. That was a young person, man. If somebody told me when I was 18, 19 years old, you know how much money I have saved right now? Probably not, but you know how much money I save right now, right? And she started young, right? Yes. And that's all you got to do is just start. As little as $25 a month, right? That's $5 less than, $6 a week, right? If you're making $6 an hour, which I hope you're not, but that's just 1 hour out of your work day. Like, that's it. And people make it so complicated. Oh, I don't have no money. Yes, you do. Let's sit down and talk. Let's look what you're spending your money on. Maybe you don't have to go to the movies every week. Take that movie money and put it in the vest. Just make it. Here's another thing, Charles. Make a simple sacrifice. Give yourself. People make things so overcomplicated. I can't. I hate the word can't. I hate, and I hate can't. Okay. All you have to do is give yourself a timeline. 90 days. That's 3 months. A job gives you 90-day probation when you get a new job. Give yourself 90 days on investing on taking care of you. Right? Just don't go out every weekend. Maybe once a week. Take that extra money and put it into something.
Well,
right?
Tell these folks that that's like telling them they got to stay in prison, and they ain't trying to hear that.
But you broke all the time. But then you calling Charles talking about, Charles, can I borrow $5, $20 to next week when I get paid? No, it don't work that way, because you have to start being responsible. Responsible. Just take the time out. You don't have to break your bank. Just save a little. It's a habit that has to start. And if you don't start this habit, that's why you're going to still be where you're going. If you want to keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And it is uncomfortable. But you know what? In the long run, you're going to see how it rewards you. That's the best thing you can do to yourself, is save money. Because if you don't save it, it's not going to save you later. You never know what the future may hold. People get injured. They get sick. They can't, and I don't want any of my clients or anyone that I know that just, because you're in a situation that you're in is because you didn't listen. I don't want to say you're in a situation because I helped you and then you stopped or you blame me, because everybody blames everybody else. But I just listen. I'm only here to plant the seed, and hopefully you can and let me water it, because it takes time. Nothing happens overnight, and if it do, run. Run.
You got that.
Run, because money is no joke. And I'm not saying that money is everything that you need, but here's what I know: without it, you'll be in a bad situation.
And when we discussed, I had a chance to chat, before you coming on the show, I told you we did Black History 365, and I asked you who's the most influential person or persons in your life and your career. You said it was your family. And can you tell us, how has Black history shaped your perspective as an entrepreneur and community leader?
Well, I'm a person that believes everything starts at home. Okay. And or your environment. You either going to be about it, or or you're going to be the opposite. My family, I didn't have a huge family, But even with my cousins, we all were raised like brothers and sisters. Okay.
Yep.
And so we all have that close knit relationship, and we always, like I said, we taught each other. So, it was, like I said, entrepreneur was very easy. Some of my family members, did entrepreneurs on the right side of the street. Some of them did on the other side of the street, right? But we always knew how to make money. And I laugh about that because of course I'm on the good side of the street, just, FYI. Okay. All right. All right. But my family, we always encouraged each other. We always, and everybody always brought something to the table because everyone has ideas, everyone has expertise. And what I know is that if we ever needed advice, we can always rely on each other, to the point where when they say, you can't work with your family, that's true. That's a true statement. You can't work with your family. But my family has, have come together and actually had successful business together, even with them knocking heads, because everybody knows everything, right? But that's just the beauty of the entrepreneur. No matter what field or what position or what journey we all go, majority of my whole family is doing something individually and is their own. And that has made it easier for me. And all I want to do is take what I learned from my family and give those same principles and guidance to those that are out there that don't even have support from their family, Charles. That don't even have it. Sometimes strangers can be the best you can have to help you moving forward. So, even, my mom, she just always was very supportive, and no matter, I did everything. My mom is no longer here with us, but I laugh because she used to say, "You better not join one more thing. You better not start one more thing," because she was all at everything. Like, she was like the super mom. She was everywhere. And it was like I always was into something because I always wanted to learn. I always wanted to get better. I always wanted to meet people and just, I never knew where I was going to land, but I knew wherever I planted my flag, I knew I was going to be of service. I'm just a giver. I'm just a giver, and I come from a family where we give. I come from a family where we are tight knit. We may not talk to each other every day, but when we come around, it's like, whoa, right? So no matter where I go, even in business, that's my family. Okay, I don't have people working for me. We are all business partners. You are my partner. You are my friend. And when you start treating people as your equal or as your partner, you build tighter relationships with them, and then it makes it easier for you to get coached, have those hard truths. And people need that. The problem is people so doggone sensitive right now. You say boo, they ready to cry now, you out here fighting. It's not even no need,
right?
You know what I mean? So you have to, it starts at home. And I just think that, when you get into different environments and you carry yourself this way, listen, I put my leg in my pants, one leg at a time, like everybody else. And all I'm here to do is is just express that. But family values go a long way. Business values go a long way. Community values go a long way. So when you look at every entity that you're a part of, if it doesn't look like a family, that's where it doesn't get success. That's where success does not lie there.
I got two comments here in the chat for you. This one is from Miss Cheryl Barfield. She says, "Insanity does doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result." And we also got Janet Barker here. Janet says, "You're dropping some gems."
This is what you get. This is what you get. I mean, because all I know, Charles, this isn't scripted. Right. I learned, I've matured in the business. I've matured in this industry, and I still have a lot to learn. Believe it or not, I don't carry myself as if I know everything. Right. I don't. And I think that's where a lot of respect from my the agents that I work with, my clients, right? Majority of my clients, I know everybody. I'm family. You know, I am family when it's come because I treat them as such. And sometimes it's very hard to have those conversations because people are very, that's personal information. They don't want to face the fact that they don't know how to manage their money right. You know what I mean? While they keep getting overdraft. And I'm not going to say it's not their fault because nobody actually taught them. But if I teach you and I show you and you still don't do it, now that's stupid. That's stupid.
What do you consider your family's most influential factor in your life and career?
Factor. Integrity. Integrity.
Okay. And how do you honor your family's legacy in your work?
Oh, I don't have a closed door. I don't have a closed door. Listen, our family has always had an open door policy. Rather, you come in to eat, you come in to sleep. I joke whatever. I said, I don't want to say this. Nobody get it. See, that's maturity. You speak before you speak. Right? I tell you, that's maturity. Look at me grow. Go ahead, Shelia. Oh man. Look at me grow. So an open door policy, meaning that we help everybody. We don't discriminate. We don't care. I say all of my friends, everybody done slept with me. And that's why I was trying to think of a nice way, because just about all my girlfriends, somebody had a drawer in my room. Okay. Right. My mom was everybody's mom. My aunt was everybody's aunt. If you come in the front door, you don't go right to the kitchen. Go right to the kitchen. Didn't care. You brought a friend, both of y'all go right to the kitchen. Right. So I internalized that as I'm here to help everybody. I'm calling you. You want me to talk to somebody? I'll talk to them. You put me in a 3-way text. You say, hey, Shelia, this is my friend. I joke with my team because I say they always pimp me. They pimp me out. Right. Because they always, Shelia, I need you to talk to somebody. Go sit with somebody that pimp me out. Right. Because if you have somebody that is willing to listen, I'm ready to talk. I'm not going to hold this information in to benefit me. It does serve me no purpose. My purpose is to serve you. So I want to give you that information. And if I don't tell you, that's a disservice and dishonor to my family, because that's not the way we were raised. That's just not my DNA. Right. And integrity goes a long way, because you can't BS people. Right. I'm not here to BS you. Right. If it's something I don't know, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's a great question, Charles. Let me write that down. Let me go. Matter of fact, let me make a phone call, because I want to give you the right answer. And I tell my team that all the time. We're not here to BS people. We're talking about their money. This their future. This their livelihood. Right. They're not going to trust you if you start talking crazy. Right. So be truthful, and be honest. And it's gonna come back to you 10 times fold. And that's just what I believe. And I laugh and I joke and all this, and it's facts, but this is reality. These are people's lives. This is my life, and then I feel responsible not only for my clients' future, but I have a lot of agents that I work with, that and I help, and it's a 2-way street. They'll tell you, listen, I am not your boss, because you can provide information that can better me. And that's the partnership that I'm looking when I talk to anybody, even with my clients. We are a partnership here. I don't have your money, but I'm here to help you and your family, because honestly, it's not about you, Charles. But if you got little Charles running around and, Charles that and Charles that, it's about your kids. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I stand 10 toes down for your kids, Now, like I tell your kids that, look, now your daddy Charles, not listening to me, I'm trying to help you, but but it's the babies, really. It's the kids that really motivate me, because I know that if we don't get our stuff together now, it won't be in a better position for them. And we have to teach our young how to get it right now, because we're not going to be here forever. And I don't know what this world going to look like. And the last thing I would want is for my child to be struggling. And if I feel that way about my son, I'm going to feel that way about your children, because it's all about the babies.
So what lessons from your family's history do you pass on to others?
What lessons?
Mm-hmm.
Just first of all, be you. Uh, we're not a bunch of phony people. We're straight laced people. You what you see is what you get. Okay,
Right.
now there's a time and place for everything, but you got to be true to yourself. And again, like I said, integrity plays a part. But just have fun with life. People too serious.
Mm.
People are too serious. And one thing I can say that in for my family values is that we love the fellowship. We
Right.
love to fellowship with each other. We like to let our hair down. We like to just laugh. We don't laugh anymore. People don't laugh. They don't have fun. And I know times has changed, but that's we gotta learn to love ourselves. We have to love ourselves, because if you don't love you, it's gonna make it hard for other people to love you as well. And right now, this is not the time to be solo. We need as much support from those around us that we can, and we have to stand together. Family values, our family stand together. And like I said, we may not be together all the time, but when we do come together, it's like we ain't even skip a beat. And there are a lot of families that are like that.
Yep.
A lot of families lost that.
Yep.
And here's a fun fact. Money plays a part in that too. What I'm saying?
Okay.
Money plays a part in that too.
Ooh.
So let's get your money together, so you ain't got to be around that Thanksgiving table in a couple of months looking like, why she got her nails done, hair done, looking like let me tell you now, it's gonna happen, right? Instead of sitting around there passing around how money works booklets,
Right.
dropping jewels and here. You got kids, I got one for how money works for kids. Because we need to have these conversations with our children. Y'all want, Uncle Charles, always giving all the babies the $20 stick in your pocket. That was, but then you get the money to the kids. They go to the store and they blow the whole 20. What happened? What happened to the 80-20 rule, or what was it? The 80-10-10 rule. Whatever rule you have, you got to save something.
Yeah,
right?
Look, they'll be back next week. I need 20 more. They'll be back.
Because the ice cream truck came around or something like that. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's pretty it. We just have to come together. In closing, just come together. We have to be open to learning something new. We have to be learning to create better financial habits. And you can start with something little, right? You don't have to go cold turkey, but people are we have to start saving. We have to start investing. And let me tell you another fun fact. Wealthy people are wealthy because they leave wealth. We don't leave wealth. We leave debt. We leave hardship. We leave broken promises. We leave, and we have to change that. We have to change that. And you can do it today. You can do it today. And I'm willing to sit down with anybody. Just have that conversation. Just have a conversation.
So in closing, what are some words of wisdom, encouragement, how people can connect with you on social media, how they can connect with you on your website, some things you need for them to know?
Okay, awesome. So first of all, in closing, I just want to say thank you so much, Charles. This was an amazing time I'm having with you. Thank you so much for just, reaching out. My whole goal is to give back to the community. I'm here to empower, uplift, encourage. I want to abolish financial illiteracy, just one individual, one family, one community at a time. I'm here to talk about free financial education, free financial literacy. I said free. I'm not charging to give y'all information. This is empowering. Okay. So if anyone wants to get in contact with me, I'll give my phone number out, which is area code 215-740-3226. That's the quickest, fastest way you can get to me. You can send me a text, leave a message if I don't answer. You can also reach me by email, which is teammovement.20@gmail.com is a quick way to reach me there. And just shoot me a text or an email, and I would love to give you a free complimentary PDF of How Money Works book. It's a financial booklet that talks about all the financial concepts that I started to talk about here. The Rule of 72 is in there, talking about the 3 buckets to start saving money, retirement. Everything you need to know about money is in there. Please just contact me and I can send it to you. We can have a free consultation and talk and, find out where you are in your financial health. What's your financial health score? Okay. We talk about credit scores all the time, but what does your financial health score look like? So we do a 5-minute assessment and that's free. Okay, so then you get to see for yourself, oh my gosh, Shelia, what's going on? Now they're ready to hide from me. No, don't hide, let's attack it. But those are the quickest ways to get a hold of me. I can say verbally. And we go from there, Charles. I mean, I'm just excited and happy. And I just thank you so much. I hope I brought value to you and your audience.
Well, you more than brought value. And before I go on, I just want to ask you, can we have you back on the show?
Absolutely. Just call. I'm here. Yeah, absolutely. You can. I will definitely love to come back. Thank you for the invite. Glad you said I don't want you back, Shelia, no more. I showed off too much.
So you were actually excellent, and I appreciate this because the thing is, it's the spirit in which the projection to the audience, which we know that this is not scripted, but I think for the young lady that said you were dropping the gems and so forth, is for everything that you were speaking is that it resonates with the people.
Yes. People
understand exactly what you were saying, and they know that once they hear it out loud, okay, I'm not doing that. Mm-hmm. And I should be doing that. And she's making all this sense. Mm-hmm. And so just with that being said, I'm just happy that you were here to do that, because I'm sure that for those that were taking those notes and when they see the replay, I'm sure that you'll be getting an enormous amount of people that should be reaching out to you because I'm sure that people in our community need to start getting into these actual situations of doing something a little bit better for themselves.
Yes. And they want the help, Charles. They really do. Mm-hmm. They just don't know where to go to and who to trust.
Right.
And that's pretty much because everybody is scared. And I get that. I really do. I understand how they feel. I feel the same way. I mean, I'm living in the same world that all of you are living in, right? Making the same decisions, trying to figure out what tomorrow is going to bring, right? So I can't speak any other way than what I'm living, and I'm here, so that's why I am one with the community. I'm here. You can touch me, you can reach me, we can have a conversation. And again, I just want to make a major impact and bring value and not talk over people's head, because that's where you lose people, because you'll lose me, right? I just need to make it make sense. Make it make sense, and then have the resources to back it up. Okay, so but I had a lot of fun with you this evening, and again, it's a real hard topic sometimes to talk about, but people, I will hope to think that at least my family, my clients family, my business family, they all know that I come from a place of sincerity, a passion. And I'm just of service. That's all. Use me. I don't want to go home and still have anything in my cup. I want to empty out as much as I can to empower our young people and our peers as well.
So for those of you that are watching the show tonight, there's lots and lots of points that you should have taken away from what Shelia just was putting out to us. The main thing that I hope you guys understood or you reach out to find out more about is that rule of 72. Mm-hmm. The rule of 72 dictates everything to your life. It dictates how your financial health is going to be. Because when you think about those that are running around here living off credit cards, you are definitely not thinking about the rule of 72. Because credit card debt is the one thing that sets plenty of folk back years on top of years on top of years. and they continue to let you get that money, especially if you're like doing that minimum balance for like 3, 4, 5 years. Let's increase your rating, more money. That whole purpose is to keep you more indebted.
Absolutely, because they make money off of us. Absolutely.
So you guys should definitely, take this time, reach out to Shelia, and get that opportunity to chat about these things and learn more than just about your financial health, but also how you can make your life and your family's life that much easier and that much better. For those of you that are watching on the YouTube channel, if you have not yet subscribed and got all the notifications, please subscribe to the channel. Get all the notifications where you can get all of the shows live when they first take place. And you'll also have the opportunity to go back and watch all the previous recorded shows and get all of the knowledge from all of the guests as to how we're trying to make the community that much better. And for those of you that have the links to both our new magazine as well as our community, I am asking that you please take the time to go and join the community, because there's several things that the community will bring to you. That is, you're going to get the opportunity to watch the show there if you like. You'll have the opportunity to do posts. You'll have the opportunity to meet other folk that are doing the same thing, as well as over time, we're actually working to establish networking events as well, because we want to connect and build the community to be as big as possible. So everything that you need will be in that source. Also, as we establish that community, there will be points that's offered and given to folks go through and like posts. They write posts. You're reading all the different things that are there. And in that point system, there are rewards that will be given as well. So again, please take the time, go and join the community. And we hope that we can help you as well as you help us. So that's the show for this evening. I want to thank Shelia again, and I want to thank all of you for watching. And please join us again tomorrow night for another episode of America in Black and White, where we will continue to color conversations on America's canvas. You all have a great evening.